And we are here on YouTube. Welcome, everybody. It's Off the Hook Overtime. It's been 2 weeks since we were last together. And we're just waiting for the thumbs up that we're on YouTube. Takes a little while for that to happen. And of course, we have our own challenges here with our board. Yeah. Okay, we're good. You guys can talk out there in Skype land. Let's see if we can hear you all right.
We're allowed to speak.
Yeah, you are. You absolutely are. I
Well,
think
that's very exciting.
okay. I think we're all good. But of course, when we bring a phone in, it's going to do something else. But for those of you out there that want to call us, don't call us yet, because we haven't given out the phone number yet, and it's rude to call somebody before they give you their phone number. Did you know that? That's phone courtesy.
It's presumptuous to
It's
say the least.
yeah, very presumptuous. And we have other things to discuss first before we get there. Um, see, this is what I was trying to avoid. Please don't do that. It's rude. You're making it hard for us to talk. You know, you're barging in, and it's not very nice. Plus, we can tell who you are too. We have caller ID, so we see your number. We see your number, and maybe we won't pick up in the future.
Is it Rebel?
How do I know if it's Rebel? It doesn't say Rebel on the caller ID.
Well, you
And
should
plus,
be familiar with the number by now.
Why would you jump to that conclusion? You know, why is he the only person who would do that? Okay,
Historically speaking, he's been the first caller on numerous
that
occasions.
was like 50 years ago. I know, but maybe he's grown since then. We'll see. Okay, we'll give out the phone number in a little bit, and then you all can call in and have at it. Okay, so we didn't get to this on the main show, but I wanted to talk about this a little bit. And this, I know, Kyle, this is something that's near and dear to your heart, concerning the right to repair up in Massachusetts. Back in late 2020, Massachusetts lawmakers, they had overwhelming public support. They passed an expansion of the state's right to repair law. That original law was the first in the nation to be passed back in 2013. Originally, it was passed in 2013. In 2020, they expanded it. Now, it was dramatically improved with that update. As of this year, according to the update, all new telematics equipped vehicles have to be accessible via a standardized, transparent platform that allows owners and third party repair shops to access vehicle data via a mobile device. The goal is to reduce repair monopolies and make it cheaper and easier to get your vehicle repaired. And of course, car manufacturers don't much like that idea. And they set about trying to demonize the law with false claims and a $26 million ad campaign, including, get this, one ad that falsely claimed the expansion would help. Anyone want to guess who this would help? Right to repair? Sexual predators. Yeah, of course. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? If you have the right to repair your car, you're opening up the floodgates to sexual predators.
It takes a certain pervert to want to fix your own car. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Ha.
yeah, it's nuts. Um, here's a bit of the commercial that they aired to put forth that idea. A camera slowly stalks a woman walking to her SUV in a desolate, empty parking garage. If question one, which is what they refer to this as, passes in Massachusetts, anyone could access the most personal data stored in your vehicle. Domestic violence advocates say a sexual predator could use the data to stalk their victims, pinpoint exactly where you are, whether you are alone. The woman's keys jingle as she approaches her car. The camera gets closer. The woman whips her head around. The stalker has found her. The screen flashes to black. Vote no on one, the narrator says. Yeah, how do you feel now, Kyle?
Even more upset, or at least annoyed by this whole thing. I've long railed about this. I could go on and on and on. I think it's truly important to make sure people have access to this stuff. And I just it irks me. I get kind of sickened hearing about this kind of stuff. It keeps going one way like there's positive support, then it comes back. It's back and forth. There's a real tug of war for this right, and it is in so many of. Why is it my voice that gets screwed up tonight?
I don't know.
Can I just talk?
I would love that. Talk to the board. Go ahead.
Anyway, yeah, things that break should be repairable. I don't know what I was saying. I just the point when things like vehicles and devices we're using have computers, things that could have multiple users and levels of privileges and access and safeguards and logging, all of that somehow is out the window when it comes to consumers fixing and maintaining their equipment, and it's just really, really unfair. And I think the larger problem with this is it's about profits and creates just an obscene amount of waste, because people will take the path of least resistance. You'll ask a friend for help and they don't know how to solder, or they don't know how to debug something, or dump data, or man in the middle and get the logs when you don't have access to them for whatever it takes with these systems. They're just going to tell you to throw it out instead because they had the same problem.
Right.
We're in a culture of diminishing empowerment around this issue, and it should be actually going in the opposite direction. We have more tools. We have more knowledge now than ever. We have more I don't know, creativity and innovation around us than ever, and yet we're lulled into thinking that you either pay by whatever really limited rules some entity wants to give you with a product, or move on because you don't want to play by their rules, and their rules are causing waste, and then they're characterizing and getting a group of voters, really, I guess, scared women in parking lots, which is, I guess, a huge voter group or something, getting them to be horrified and to vote exactly as this campaign suggests. And I just find this it's so repugnant. It's the wrong direction. It's an affront. It's a real affront to consumers. I hope every last consumer rights group, organization for repair in every regard fights this stuff ever more. Because again, it's a tug of war, keeps going one way or the other, and I'll stop. But I just, I'm really, I get really upset about this.
I just the way we're dealing with our technical issues, I have to cut off the Skype people while you talk and while I talk. But then when we bring them in, we're going to keep quiet. Except to say that if you're having trouble with our stream, I'm getting an error message here saying YouTube is not receiving enough, and that just went off the screen. So that's helpful, YouTube, really helpful. But apparently people might be experiencing buffering. If you are experiencing buffering, I don't know what to do about it, but I can tell you this: you will hear a much better version of this show on the 2600.com website, not the YouTube website. Yeah, it's not there anymore, Kyle. The message went away. I'll let you know. Now it's saying that the stream's current bit rate is higher than the recommended bit rate. We recommend that and then it goes off the screen. So I don't really know or care. Gila, you had something.
I did, yeah. I think first of all, to say in what relates to kind of piggyback on what Kyle is saying, that we've been talking about the sense that as a culture, you have to monetize whatever it is you're doing. So in the same way that you have to monetize your hobbies, if you want to fix your friend's car, no one's getting paid for that. So I think that also ties into, if the company's not making money, then the wrong person is making the money. And I think it's also interesting. There was a piece I sent into the show not long before we went on air, so it may not have made the news list for this evening. But this thing in Seattle where people who drive Mazdas, their car radios got bricked if they listen to a specific station.
Yeah. I saw this come across apparently
KUOW is the what? If they listen to the station, that car got bricked, or if they didn't listen to the station, the car got bricked.
If they did, their car radio got bricked if they tuned into a specific station. Apparently, the signal sent the signal from the station sent to the modern HD radio that's part of the Mazda infotainment center fried a major component, and now they can't change the station.
Yeah, and as soon as it was tuned to that, that was it. It was stuck on that station.
Wow. I misread the story. I thought that people couldn't tune away from that NPR station, but apparently if you, that's the kind of thing I expect to happen to BAI. People tune to that station, all of a sudden the radio goes nuts and becomes completely useless in the future.
Completely bricked. And if you can't, you have to go get a $1,500 part from the dealer. That's the only option. And when he contacted the dealership, they told me that there's nothing they can do about it, that I needed a new CMU unit, that it cost $1,500, and that they didn't have the part.
Wow. Okay. And where does it stand now? Now that this is a news story, I imagine that they might be a little bit more generous, maybe an apology, maybe free repairs.
You're funny.
Okay. Well, okay. Check in the morning. I'll bet the story will change by then. Anyway, going back to Massachusetts, the law again passed with the overwhelming support of voters. Automakers sued to stop it, and that has delayed its implementation. The same coalition of automakers, GM, Ford, Honda, Hyundai, they're pushing new legislation that would delay implementation even further to 2025. Yeah, so it's really annoying. And I heard, Kyle, maybe you can illustrate this a little more, but there was one car maker, is it Mazda? Do they still exist? That basically when they sell cars in Massachusetts, they don't have certain features because of this law. So basically they're selling versions of cars up there that don't take advantage of technology because people have dared to pass a law that doesn't give them a monopoly. Did you hear something like that?
Sure, this goes on with regionalizing of all kinds of different products, but so it's not necessarily unique, but this seems targeted or tailored specifically because of the types of legislation.
There's punishment, definitely punishment.
Indeed, and it just gets me because the cars are getting simpler. Like there are less parts, there's less moving parts. There are becoming more like circuitry stuff you can do, sorts of diagnostics in ways that they're the vehicle's telling you that certain systems need attention and where to look for a specific problem. That has evolved over many, many years, and this sanctimonious and sort of restrictive attitude, just completely shutting it down, not having any kind of good faith around creating systems for independent operators and fleets and owners and people in industrial sectors that maintain their own equipment. They have to because of how they're using it, or the average person that wants to avoid encountering big, huge bills where a central control unit is it used to be you could replace just a radio, and these things are sort of managed and one and the same as a so-called infotainment unit. So it's pretty awful that all of the other systems, because some of your radio passes through this one control unit, all of the other systems have to get a new one off the shelf. Many other parts of that board or that control unit might still function, might be just fine, but because no one is interested in component level repair, we're not teaching, and we're not doing enough micro soldering. We're not
no one in the industry is, but people are certainly interested
well
in that.
Right, and we're not, and the industry isn't supporting people who would take the time to do that kind of repair work, and it hasn't been supported. It hasn't been stood up in any way. So there's, maybe a little bit with cell phone repair, but even that has been on really unsteady ground. The footing for that industry alone has been back and forth. We've had stories like this constantly. So I just really want to see a strong, wide stance. I know other unlikely issues in the past, like cannabis or whatever it is we're talking about. Those took time, and it takes smaller wins. So I hate to see a place like Boston or up in Canada go a little bit in one direction then back because manufacturers find out and start forming these coalitions and get really, really kind of abusive and retaliatory.
Go ahead, Gila.
Speaking as a member of the highly coveted women who get scared in parking lots demographic, I also resent the cynicism of saying that if you want to get your car repaired by somebody else, just adding that to another list of things that women who drive cars are told they need to be afraid of. So you're told that you have to carry your keys between your fingers, park under a streetlight, don't wear your hair in a ponytail, and oh, by the way, you can only get your car fixed in one place. Deeply, deeply cynical and preying on fears that are inculcated into women, non-binary people, what have you, in ways that can be very detrimental to the point. It's like, do people not want women to have cars? Is that where we're going with this? Is that what the opposition to right to repair is leading to?
Yeah, totally. It creates a stereotype that you're a victim, that you are helpless in some way as a consumer. It's awful. I think it really lends into this sort of disempowerment, and that because you can't handle it, they have to be the ones in charge of this, and then it's for your, in this really like paternal way, it's like for your own good.
Well, the plus about all this is that it's bringing a lot of people together. As Tommy Hickey, the director of Massachusetts Right to Repair Coalition, said, after spending $26 million only to be resoundingly defeated at the ballot box, the big automakers and dealers still don't get it. And whether it's people driving cars or people driving tractors, we're all kind of uniting against the automakers on this, saying that we want the right to be able to repair the vehicles, machinery that we have bought. And we have every right to do that. And the voters agree. So it's good to see it go in a positive direction. They will lose in the end. The question is, how much time are they going to waste? Yes, go ahead, Alex.
I think, since we're so passionate about this issue, perhaps we could get a bunch of people together that are affected by this type of issue and maybe start something like a convoy. What do you think about that?
I think that's a bad idea.
I think
I
I'm
don't
going
think
to
that's a
stop
good
you
idea.
right there.
I don't think it's not, honestly, we don't have to it's not for us to solve. It's out there. People care a lot about this.
I mean, I think we're in a good position to solve it, and I do like convoys, but I just, they've been ruined. They've been ruined by those idiots.
I don't have a hot tub. I don't have like a sauna on the back of a truck that I can rig up quickly enough for that. But in seriousness, I think like people are really talking about this. They're connected in all the sort of modern ways you'd think of, and I'm glad we're continuing to cover this. I'd love to see it in the rearview mirror.
Wow. Okay, with that, let's give out the phone number now. 802-321-4225 is our telephone number. Now, everybody has an equal chance to call us. 802-321-HACK. And
I will try to make up for everything by being quick to answer some calls. And
no, it's not a question of being quick.
I'm
It's a
paying
question
attention, is what I'm saying.
One channel not colliding with another channel, which is what we seem to have with this board here.
I will fix it.
We have to spend time. I think a call might be coming in. It says call from error. Boy, this caller ID box was worth the money, wasn't it? Was there a call or not? Did you pick up?
Yes.
There is a call. All right, let's pick up. And good evening. You're on Off the Hook Overtime.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Okay, I'm one of the lucky ones. I was able to get a Hope ticket. Looking forward to it this summer. I just had a question. The email I received, it said your order is confirmed. You'll receive an email when your order is ready. Do you have any kind of an idea? Is that a few weeks, a few months before I'll receive that follow-up email when my order is ready?
It'll be closer to the conference. It'll probably be in June.
Okay, sometime in June.
Yeah.
Well, really looking forward to that.
Yeah, we are too. It's going to be awesome.
Well,
And just had a question about, you were talking about the word meta before in the show.
Uh-huh.
You know, that the term metaverse was actually coined by Neil Stephenson. And I'd be curious to know what he makes of Mark Zuckerberg sort of hijacking the term by rebranding his company as Meta,
Mm-hmm.
which makes about as much sense as calling his company Air. It just seems like a really dumb idea to me. And
I think
I'm really, I
people
was
need.
going to say, I'm really disappointed with the media buying into it.
Yeah,
You know,
I think that it's people trying to be at the center of something that was already sort of occurring. It seems like I don't think people were really as aware of it or was in the lexicon as much when until their name change as a sort of firm direction with this. But it's important to remember this is mostly it's still emerging. The protocols and whatnot for this are still being designed. There are file formats for this and elements of art and design and technical stuff that will go into this and that people have been doing and working on for a really long time. And it's exciting, but the big question I've been confronted with when we were talking about it and who owns the name and stuff, I really started to say like, okay, so if this is the future or what we're supposed to be excited about emerging here, like the question then it seems we're looking at now is who is building your metaverse, or who built the metaverse that you're going to reside in or aiming to embrace. And I think that's starting to become a question. There's been abuse and stuff in some of the interactions um, and some harassment, stuff like that already. Just as we were sort of predicting, as had been the result of the last sort of social tool and media tool that we embraced in this in a very similar pattern. So here we are once again at this precipice of something new and shiny, but it's yet to really have edges or be something. That's why I like kind of taking the name and trying to ride on this wave of excitement is really just a small piece of what people are really talking about and working on.
You know, I typed the word metaverse in a podcast search engine, and I got over 25 hits with a podcast with the word metaverse in the title. So it's definitely got a lot of cachet, that word.
What I wonder is who had rights to the name Meta? Because someone had to have had that before Facebook decided they wanted it. So what kind of deal was made with those people, or were they just stepped over?
There was some kind of internet market research firm called the Meta Group. I don't know if it still exists. They used to produce these very expensive reports that sold for like $10,000 or more.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the Gartner Group. I don't know if they still exist, but it was called the Meta Group. But other than them, I don't know any other company that had the word Meta for a company name.
I met a hacker named Meta.
You know a hacker named Meta?
Yeah, I met Meta is I guess what I'm saying.
Well, that they might be able to bring down Facebook alone.
I think he might. He's really into like brainwaves and like visualizing, letting you see your own brainwaves, like imaging them and controlling things with brainwaves.
Wow. Okay.
Will you have any talks or panels about the metaverse at the Hope Conference?
If people submit them, we will have them. And that's why we hope a lot of people submit talk ideas, because we're open to all different perspectives and viewpoints.
Okay, well, looking forward to it, and see you at Hope, if not sooner, in the metaverse somewhere.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks for listening.
Cool. 802-321-4225. Any thoughts from the world of Skype?
Kyle, I've also known a hacker called Meta, and this one was a woman, so it's not who you're speaking about. But there's already name collision happening in the hackers calling themselves Meta space.
I was speaking with a European Meta, so I don't know.
So, one of my brother's friends growing up had his mom was named Meta, but it was spelled Meta. So it's out there, it's a thing, and let's not forget the basketball player Meta World Peace.
Oh,
It's been
I forgot about that. Wow. Actually, what I'd like to do is I'd like to figure out what we can make Meta stand for, and just spread that around as something really derogatory and awful that people associate with Meta, so that Facebook will have to stop using it. Like was the M could be most.
I think we should just put an H in there, like meh.
No, it's META.
Meta.
What does META really stand for? This could be a contest for all of us. Anybody have anything off the top of their heads? I think most is a good way to start something that is basically describing something horrible. I don't know what the E could stand for.
Making everything totally awful.
Wow, you just did that? That's great. Or did somebody already do this?
No, I just thought of that. Since
Making everything totally awful. You gotta love that. Go ahead, Gila.
making exclusively terrible alternatives.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of exclusively in there. It's too big a word.
Epically?
Again, once you get into the $20 words there with multiple syllable, I don't know. We can work on this, but I like what you came up with, Kyle. I do like that. Hey, we have a phone call. Let's take this one. Good evening. You're on Off the Hook Overtime.
It's Phil from Missouri. How you guys been?
Hey, what's up?
We're all right. How are you?
Oh, not a lot. Just listening to you. Meta is short for metadata. You see, he's conning everybody to give more metadata for him to sell.
True.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, the whole thing I don't understand what is the point of doing this whole meta thing anyway. He wants to have a VR boardroom so a boss can leer at you through. You remember those little toys? They're like people, and they like bob back and forth, and flick them with your finger and stuff like that.
Bobbleheads.
Bobbleheads.
No, not a bobblehead, but it's like it was weighted at the bottom. And it's like a punching toy. It's something you can punch around.
Yeah, it's inflatable.
Gila, you know?
Yeah, that's what these guys look like in Meta, and I just don't get it. There's actually a thing on Steam called Rec Room that does exactly what he's showing off there. You don't even have to have a VR headset to participate, but you can play like golf or first-person shooter or play cards, whatever you want to do in there. The problem is where it's on Steam, every jerk you could think of, racist and otherwise, are on there to cause trouble. But if you look up Rec Room, you can see that the avatars in there are exactly the same as the avatar he's showing off of Meta. Just kind of a blob with a head on it.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the real estate company that is selling off VR lots in Meta?
No.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. Today on this YouTube channel called Some More News, and apparently they are setting it up so that you can buy lots of land in the Meta universe or whatever, so that you can own land in Meta, which using maybe cryptocurrency, or that's how you would do it. It's like you use an NFT as a deed. I just don't understand. I mean, why don't I want to go to VR just have the same problems I have in real life, like paying rent and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense.
Rob, did you have something?
Yeah, you want to talk about precursors? There was and still is, a program called Second Life, which came out in 2003. That's 19 years ago, And they did all of this. Like, Meta is not adding anything new really to this, but they had, virtual avatars that walk around in user-created virtual worlds, and you could have meetings, and you could go to places that people create and meet your friends and whatever. And this was not a VR app, at least not in the beginning. It was just on a two-dimensional screen, but you would walk around in it like any other virtual world. And they also
Yeah.
had these schemes where you could buy land in the game to put stuff on that other people could come and see. And it was hyped all over the place. 10, 15 years ago, I think it peaked. But it was also an example of they were replicating all the hassles of a capitalistic society, trying to sell virtual land, trying to sell virtual goods with none of the material benefits. And I think it's still around, but it's nowhere near as active as it used to be. But yeah, they did these things many, many years ago, and we're making all the same claims about it that Zuckerberg is now making about Meta. And I don't think it's any more plausible now than it was back then.
I think really
Well, I'm sorry.
what defines it is going to be like where people move towards it, where the audience goes with it, and a lot of these worlds won't get much better if the users aren't really there, if there isn't much uptake. So that's why a lot of stuff is being seeded with celebrities and gimmicks and kind of good and bad stuff, just everything being thrown at it. And then, I mean, which I agree. Like, I think the way it is, it's just not that great. I mean, or it's been done. There's been versions of it done before. It will evolve. Were there people there, because they would then be pushing. Like, think of it. There's nobody there, nobody in it really invested in it. They're not going to be demanding it have better functionality or look a certain way. It won't be modified, and so that's really crucial, I think, now. But imagine it is evolved, and a couple of these things win out, and then they're interoperating. So you have your like VR Clubhouse or VR Chat, or then Metaverse and all these things. Then can they interoperate in certain ways, and how does that then get used? And I think this boils down to what we've critiqued about this at the outset, which is that the way they're using this is, I think, against that same for-profit model, and in harvesting, like you said, metadata and stuff, and those, or maybe a subscription. I don't know if it gets that desperate. Who knows? But it shouldn't be that we all flock to or wait for it to be designed for us. These standards and so forth have not been finalized yet, and these companies that want all the users and want to be able to throw their weight around in how all the VR standards are like solidified, they're already there. They want to be there, like, saying, well, we should have a say because we have this much clout in our, loosely populated product, or quick to market product. But I think people that are really into this and where it actually leads is totally for people to define now, and we'll push this in various directions.
Well, I until the younger generation like real latches onto this, I mean, we think it's cool, but they talked about this since the '60s, right? There's all kinds of sci-fi stories that date from back then, like we remember wholesale. We remember For You Wholesale, right? My Philip K. Dick.
Yeah. It's cool the way this is not used commercially. I think that's the most interesting thing, is like how this will be used privately, how this will be used with interested groups, affinity groups, people that want to accomplish something, maybe people that are fixing a car together in a virtual way. I'm tying in our other story. But that is, I think, the best way. The most boring ways, I think, are these big companies, what they do with it.
Well, I think it's already going on with like FaceTime and everything. Because you could just dial up a buddy and say, hey, we take a look at this through FaceTime. And it's like, well, it looks like there's something loose here. Why don't you change that out and everything? But the thing is, it's like all this is doing is just rehashing something that's been around forever. Putting a name on it because he heard somewhere that was a cool thing to sound like, I guess. And everybody keeps forgetting that Zuckerberg did not come up with Facebook. He just helped his friend like make it, right? And all these tech gurus, they start out with money anyway. Like Bill Gates, he had help from his parents getting Microsoft started. And DOS and bought DOS and everything else, and Steve Jobs, his family wasn't poor. I mean, he got to be able to spend all the money on the hobby. It's just ridiculous that everybody thinks Zuckerberg's like this massive genius when he's not. He's just a dude who knows how to sell himself, and that's it.
I think that's pretty much it.
Huh?
I think that's pretty much it. I think that is a good definition of him.
Yeah, it's like Trump. Trump is an all-out idiot, but he knows how to sell himself. He knows how to entertain his, I guess, voters, whatever you want to call them now. I don't know, cultists. But
followers.
He knows how to keep them engaged and keep them rooting for him, even when he's doing really stupid stuff.
Mm-hmm.
With all this book banning going on about cuss words and all this other stuff, which has been going on forever. All you got to do is look up on YouTube. You can see videos from the 50s where they're burning records and stuff like that, or where they try to ban books from the library and all that other stuff. But because the news has something to do for 24 hours, that's all they're going to dwell on, and all it does is agitate more people.
Yeah, except it's more organized now. It's on a bigger scale, and I think it's going into a really dark place.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I've noticed is like the other night here in St. Louis, they had two women complained about their kids getting masks, use of mask in school. Well, they got to get on TV over it.
Uh-huh.
They were smiling real big and trying not to, giggle. That shy little giggle when you got a little bit of attention.
Right.
Yeah. Well, they were doing it to get on TV and get on Facebook and get the social credit for it. And half these people who complain about it don't even go to these schools or have anybody that goes to the schools. And the superintendent of this very same school is retiring at the end of this year so he can run for state senator. So it kind of makes me wonder if he didn't find the two loudest voices in the room, talk to them and have them come up there and, act all stupid and everything, and the news got a hold of it and just to promote his own brand in the end.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised. That's a pretty old game.
Okay. And one more thing before I let you go. Something happened like last week or this week. A lady went to a school board meeting, was totally tripping out over furries.
Over furries?
Yeah.
Furries. Somebody told her, which I'm thinking it's just her kid messing with her. Somebody told her, because that's how all these stories start. Somebody told them, nobody knows who these people are, but somebody told her that they were putting litter boxes in a unisex bathroom in this local school so that kids who dress up like furries can go use the bathroom with a litter box.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
Well,
so brilliant.
You would think until somebody running for Congress or a state senator or something. I can't remember if they're running for Congress or if they were actually a state senator or a representative.
Uh-huh.
But he went on Twitter saying this must be stopped.
Wow.
And if people weren't getting violent over this stuff, I would be laughing. I mean, I'm laughing, but
are people getting violent? Are people getting violent over?
They're getting violent over everything else, man.
Litter boxes
really.
in bathrooms that don't even exist.
They're getting violent over a CRT that's not being taught in schools. So,
has it reached the point where they're putting litter boxes in bathrooms now, or is it still?
I think it's a joke.
I know it's a joke, but the people. That's how Trump started. That was a joke. Look what happened.
There is a lack of.
I know it's only a joke until people start hurting other people over it. It's like that convoy you were talking about earlier. It's like that's like funded by somebody called Unity for Canada. If you go to the website,
it was a hijack.
Or CanadaForUnity.com.
It was a hijacked
it's
Facebook.
It's the worst site you ever seen.
It wasn't a hijacked Facebook account. You know, someone's mother's Facebook account got stolen, and one of the main organizers took this over and had a Facebook presence, and that was enough to get them legitimacy. In fact, the very first comment on the page is from the original owner of the account, from their mother, from their daughter, saying, "You stole my mom's account," or something crazy like that. And that is how these things get started. It's crazy.
Yep. Well, check this out, right? Why are there people waving Confederate flags in Canada?
I know. And swastikas and all sorts of things.
Yes. Why are there Nazis there? How are these truckers who are supposed to be working stiff like the rest of us able to afford to miss out on work, especially if an independent contractor, right?
Well, I have
You're
a
an
theory
independent
about
trucker,
that.
You got to bust your butt.
I don't think there's any work for them to miss out on. I mean, would you hire them? Come on.
Well, I think what it is they're like I think they're being paid by right wingers down here.
Yeah, sure.
I think they have a lot of sympathy, and they probably were not able to work because they didn't agree with whatever temporary restrictions or whatever jobs they were doing independently or otherwise. They didn't agree with them, and then got involved with this, and it just grew and became something that I don't even think they know who's in charge now.
But here's the thing, right? I mean, GoFundMe took the thing down, right? But check this out. You have to be vaccinated even across the border to go into Canada, right?
Right.
So those guys are pretty much vaccinated to begin with if they're coming from the States.
I don't think they are coming from the States. I think they're just in Canada, and they have nothing else to do, so they're causing mayhem and having a lot of support from the ultra-right wing in both countries.
That appear like local leaders, but might not be.
Well, I think it's one of those astroturf things. I think it's just some rich fat cats who just have nothing better to do with their time, which I think that's half of our political problem anyways. These people don't have regular jobs to have something to do between times. If Marjorie Taylor Greene had an actual job while going to Congress, you think she'd be as crazy as she is right now?
I don't know if there's a cure
She's
for that.
got too much time on her hands.
I think no matter what she was doing, she'd be crazy. But we're going to leave it there. But thanks for bringing up all these points.
Okay.
And giving us stuff to talk about. All
okay.
Right. You take care.
Well, you have a good one.
All right. And our phone number, 802-321-4225. By the way, everybody is up, so you guys can jump in anytime. I think our levels are good now. I don't know why, but...
just don't breathe on them.
Don't breathe. Yeah, don't touch anything. You guys over there in Skype land have anything to add?
Things are well covered. Just a quick shout to our listener Pete, who on Twitter tells us he's still lolling over making everything totally awful. I think that might have officially stuck already, Kyle. Nicely done, dude.
All right, the universe can have it. The metaverse can have it.
Yeah, I pick up the damn phone, please. I think you should trademark that too. By the way.
Sure.
All right. We have a phone number that came up as all zeros, an unknown name. Hello, unknown.
Hello.
I knew it was this person because you always come in as all zeros.
That's correct.
I think you called a toll-free number. I think that's why you come across as all zeros.
That may be, or it might also be because I have my phone number blocked when I make phone calls.
Yeah,
but
because I don't want
chalk
companies to have my phone number.
Yeah,
when I call them.
but when you call a toll-free number, that doesn't work. You can dial *67 as many times as you want. That does not carry over with ANI, which is what toll-free numbers use to identify callers.
Okay.
But in this case, it worked. I don't know why, but it did.
I'm willing to chalk it up to a display of supreme skill.
Yeah, maybe. Caller, can you tell other callers what the toll-free number is for their benefit?
Okay. Now I have to look it up again
you just
on
called
my
it.
calendar.
You just dialed it.
It is 833 755 2600.
That is correct. Everyone says that is the right number. Thank you for sharing that. What's on your mind this week?
The probably the person who called you before you gave out the number, which was not me, by the way, was trying to tell you that you're virtually indetectable on YouTube.
What does that mean?
Your sound is so low that I had to hunch over my speakers and hope that I didn't accidentally make a sound because you were so almost totally inaudible.
I honestly do not know how to fix this because we're being given no support. The levels look good here. Guys, you're listening, Rob, Gila, Alex, you're all listening to YouTube, right? How do we sound?
Yeah. It sounds listenable to me. It's maybe a touch low, but nothing that I couldn't pump up my computer volume to boost a little more if I wanted
How
to.
about I just bring up the master control and we'll see what happens. All right, I'm gonna raise it by about 20%. Are you all ready for this? I don't see people being ready. Okay, are you ready? All right, here we go. I have to get through this tape. We have a maximum.
Don't do that.
Okay, well, I'm a little
You
bit.
understand that I'm listening over the phone at the moment.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. So we won't expect you to comment on that. But we still sound okay, right, Rob? Right, Alex?
I mean, okay, we're catching up to that now.
Oh,
with
that's
the delay.
right. There's a delay too. That makes it a little more complicated.
Yeah.
And you see this error, Kyle, on the screen. YouTube is not receiving enough video to
Okay,
maintain smooth streaming.
it is louder on video on YouTube now.
Okay. And we're adjusting other things too.
Boosting the volume worked.
All right. Well, I didn't boost it by very much. So maybe we just need to do that after the show each time. It's just raise the volume for some reason. But I am getting that buffering error too on YouTube. I don't know what that means. Anyway, caller, you must have something else to tell us.
Yes. I've been concerned about all of the states getting rid of the indoor mask mandates when, even though the Omicron peak has been coming down, it's still higher than the top of the Delta peak. And we've got the Omicron variant, which, what happens if it doesn't keep going down? We still have problems with hospitals and ICUs, and they're acting as if the Omicron thing is over and we can be normal with COVID, and it's totally unrealistic. And if we have the mask mandate indoors removed, we're just asking and begging for more cases.
Well, the thing that concerns me is basically the CDC does not recommend this, and until the CDC and the states are in agreement, I'm going to have some doubts. It's the CDC is not a political organization.
Apparently, they're pressuring the CDC to change its position.
Yeah, and I hope it's not just because there's a bunch of idiots out there raising their voices and blocking roads. That's not the right reason to change your policy. If the scientific evidence backs up your stand, okay, then go with it. But the CDC really should be agreeing with this as well. And if they're not, that's a big red flag as far as I'm concerned.
But apparently they're trying to put political pressure on the CDC to remove the CDC's support for remaining masked indoors.
Yeah, well, you don't solve a pandemic politically. There's no politics
I know.
involved. So if that's their rationale, they're barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah, well, I'm very worried. My cousin just died of COVID.
I'm sorry.
Unvaccinated.
Sorry to hear that.
Trumpist. Didn't believe it was a real problem. Dead.
Yeah. And we hear stories like that all the time. All the time. It's I don't know what else we can possibly be doing if people refuse to listen. People refuse to do the right thing.
More mandates. That's what we can do.
But we're in a situation now where we've seen 1 million people die, and somehow Republicans are still saying, "See, this proves that we were right all along," and people are believing it. When the mandates do stop, they're going to be claiming victory, saying it's because we put pressure on the Democrats. They wanted us to live in a nanny state forever. And no matter what happens, they're going to spin it so it seems like they were right all along, despite the fact that they literally killed hundreds of thousands of people with their ignorance. And, I don't know how we get past that. I honestly don't know, because people are so easily misled.
Did you say easily or evilly?
I said easily, and I don't attribute evil to ignorance, but it's the result. It's the end result.
Well, some of it isn't ignorance.
True. But I think amongst most of the followers, it's this blind trust, which to me is the same thing as ignorance.
Yeah, but the people they're following are not so ignorant.
No, I agree. They know exactly what they're doing, and they've also taken care of themselves. They've gotten vaccinated, and they've taken all the precautions. So, yeah.
And speaking of living with COVID, I saw something in Scientific American that Syrian hamsters are also able to get COVID and give it to human beings.
Syrian hamsters?
Yes, but not dwarf hamsters.
Wait. Hold on. Are these hamsters in Syria, or are these some kind of hamster that are called Syrian hamsters that are everywhere?
They're called Syrian hamsters. They're sold as pets.
Okay. I was wondering who would have time to be experimenting on hamsters in Syria with all the craziness.
No.
Okay. All right.
No, this was in China, I think, that people were infected out of the blue, and nobody knew where it had come from, and it had come from these Syrian hamsters in a pet store.
Well, I hate to put the blame on hamsters ever, but yeah, I don't know what to say to that. I honestly don't.
Well, what I'm saying is, when there are other species than humans, that something can be a reservoir in, we can't just get rid of it. They're in mink,
right?
And they're in Syrian hamsters, and we're not going to be able to. I mean, even if everybody got vaccinated, we wouldn't be able to totally get rid of them.
Yeah, and I think we're reaching the stage where we realize, well, we're not going to totally get rid of the virus, but if we can make it as the effects less devastating, I think most of us can live with that, and that is.
Well, not you say most of us, but there are people like me who are trapped in my apartment for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there are always going to be risks for people who are compromised in one way or another. It's never going to be 100% safe on any level. So I don't think it's wise to wait for that day to come, because that day won't come. There's always going to be some amount of risk. The important thing is to take all the precautions that you can. And then
correction.
Your odds.
I said China. I should have said Hong Kong.
Okay. Hong Kong is part of China, but I'm not going to get into that right now.
Yeah, but there's Hong Kong is a little bit different.
Yes, but they are
from the rest.
They are in China. I mean, that's how. That's how it worked out. Anything else?
Yeah.
Guys, feel free to jump in any time, Skype people. I mean, for God's sake, why? Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think that strict mandates everywhere is really the way to go, but I do think that there's a lot of caution that's necessary. So the disconnect in how to go through various stages of what that is, what that will be, or what we're going towards, especially from health. National health and other people in charge of that kind of messaging and the right kind of guidance and who and all that, that's not really evidence. So it seems kind of in flux. But long term, I mean, you see what's the kind of resistance towards it. You say mandate now, and that word is it's gone. You can't use the word mandate, and it's got this negative overtone because of how polarized and upset people have become over it. I don't know what the answer is. I think that it's going to be something that I don't know. I keep failing COVID tests.
What do you mean failing COVID tests?
I've tried, but I don't pass them for whatever reason.
No, you're supposed to get negative.
Oh,
that's no, it's not considered success if you're positive. No, you're doing the right thing. I thought that was understood.
But based on how I've personally assessed my risk, and that's kind of where they're leaving people right now. That's what I've gotten from the news about this week. It's just like, figure it out for yourself, and take some tests and make sure you're boosted and have a good summer.
This was inevitable. It happens when people get overly tired of the same thing over and over again. But we have to maintain our intelligence here.
How can you be tired of trying to save your life from getting killed?
Well, if it's as exciting as that sounds every single day, but when you basically are just staying inside and not doing much outside, and after a while you get bored and you start saying, okay, you know what, maybe I'm gonna take a chance. And it's not advisable when things are dangerous, but when the numbers start going down, more people are going to do things like that.
Or replace that bored with complacent. Because if we say, oh, this is a crisis, or it's a mild crisis, and stay vigilant, and you got to do all this stuff, people are going to be like, yeah, right. You have to show change, I think, in this situation, and a level of trust that adults are going to assess and make adult decisions for themselves and everybody around them, as we've been saying ad nauseum.
Rob, I didn't realize you were raising your hand. Your hand merges into the pattern on your shirt, so I thought that was part of your shirt. Go ahead.
He's wearing a hope shirt.
Sure. It is a hope shirt, yes. No, talking of mandates and stuff is just making me so very tired, because we are all now on our third year, looking at our third year of dealing with this as a greater society, and it feels like we just keep failing. We keep failing at doing what we should have done since the beginning. And, talking of adult decisions, I, for one, am on record as saying, even post-COVID, whenever that actually happens, if we're told someday that COVID is no more and we did it, everyone, and good job, everybody, I will still be masking. I will still be, putting on my mask when I go into a crowd or things like that, because I've come to really appreciate the other benefits of it, which is, I'm not getting as many regular ass non-plague colds or flus. Allergy season is much nicer, things like that. I've really come to appreciate why other countries have been wearing face masks since long before COVID was a thing. And I think it's a permanent change for me.
Rob, hold on a second. It screws up the facial recognition software. You really have to do your part.
I'm into that too. Although now facial recognition software is starting to find ways around that, just using the area around your eyes. There was one or two stories this past week about it. And,
damn it! Really?
Yeah,
the evil adapts.
The iPhones you can choose whether you're wearing a mask or not.
Another reason to get an iPhone. Great. Wow.
Well, I don't know if they don't have the exclusive on that, I'm sure, but
I don't understand what you just said. On iPhone, you can choose whether you're wearing a mask?
To unlock it, yes.
If you use the facial recognition unlocking feature on your iPhone, where you point it at yourself and it recognizes your face.
With a mask on?
Yes, it's now been adapted to recognize its user with a mask on, and you can control your iPhone and decide whether you wanted to identify your face with a mask on or not. I believe that's where things are right now, but it's only going to get less and less. It's only going to become less and less easy to fool facial recognition with your mask.
You hear the sensation of a million minds being blown just now. It's gone, but.
They're going to add an option for if you have a hand covering your mouth.
Okay, can we move on to something a little bit more cheery? Because this is really getting me down. And let's just keep doing what we're doing.
Oh, it's cutting you down.
Yeah, it is. People are very inconsiderate. That's always talking about coronavirus everywhere I look.
Yeah, you've got coronavirus fatigue.
Yeah, no, it's talking about coronavirus fatigue mostly. Yes. Alex, did you have something?
Yes. There was that quote that this discussion reminds me of. If you want an image of the future, imagine a boot stomping on a human face.
Uh-huh. George Orwell said that, right?
Yeah, it was something like
Yep.
that. I'm sure I didn't get that down perfectly, but
1984.
Yeah, he was
That's
in a
right.
really bad mood when he wrote that, okay? It's not necessarily the future.
yeah.
Yeah, Down and Out in London and Paris is also cheery.
Yeah, it's always down and out and, oppression and boot stomping. Anyway, any final words, caller, because we're going to move on.
Just reiterating what I said, we're above the top of the Delta wave, even though we're coming down, and people are acting as if it's time to act as if COVID was normal. That's just totally not realistic. It's wishful thinking, and it's going to lead to more illness and death.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe when that day comes, they won't realize it then either. I don't know what the answer is. You
Everybody who's foolish dying. It doesn't work that way, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I'm open to theory as to what the right thing to do is and what the right results will be. But I don't know. We'll have to observe, I suppose. Anyway.
Trump is now for vaccinations because all of his voters are dying.
Yeah, maybe that'll wise some people up.
Well, they're angry at Trump.
Mm-hmm. They're angry at everybody. Anyway, thanks for the call. Stay healthy, and we'll talk to you again.
Bye-bye.
Take care. That was rather a hard click there. Wow. Okay, our phone number is 802-321-4225. We don't have very much time left because, boy, we've been at this a while. You guys have anything to try? Your mic is on. Everything seems to be working now. We don't know why because we didn't really change anything. This is just so annoying. I hear the distant bell of a phone.
Our phone number.
Go ahead. Speak up, please.
Hello?
Yes. There's a lot.
Hello?
Yeah. You got to turn me down. Yeah, turn down
He's in
your
the Metaverse.
radio and.
Yes, how you doing, guys?
We're doing good, but I hear myself, and I don't want to hear myself. Okay, that's fine.
I just paused the thing. I just paused the YouTube.
Pause the thing.
I'm so glad I reached you guys. I had taken a nap.
I wish I had done that.
So I got a problem.
Go ahead.
A few years ago, my step-parents, and this is why I say your parents know the best, man, and it's always good to take their advice. They got me those these binders to put your bank cards in, right?
Okay.
And she said there's some scam going around with people, like they'll bump into you and they have some kind of device in their pocket that can read cards and they can do all types of fraudulent activity.
Yeah, it's
at first I didn't I thought it was kind of ridiculous at first, but I was using the binders they bought me for a few months, and I stopped using them because I forgot to keep putting my cards in them because you have to condition yourself to put them in the binders and then inside your wallet. It was it was such a nuisance.
Extra step.
I believe this is, correct me if I'm wrong, this is what the new Omni system and the New York City subway and buses are using, where basically you have to pretty much come very, very close to the contactless device. You can't just walk through and have everything get scanned.
That's
crazy.
It's for contactless payments.
Yeah.
The thing you're saying, ideally you have to be close and
really close.
And then otherwise it's safe and it won't scan. But guess what? You can build antennas with higher gain. You can build whatever you want that can kind of be conformed to the specification, but do it at a maybe double the distance. So it's maybe I'm not on top of it with my wallet, but maybe I'm 24 inches away and it works.
Okay,
you can amplify these things.
But if you do that,
build a larger
hold on. I wasn't finished saying what happened.
Okay.
Because I think in early January, someone had took funds from my unemployment benefit card. They used KeyBank, and I don't know how it happened. I'm single. I have no dependents. I don't let no one use my card. I'm the only one who uses my cards. Nobody else. Someone took
a total of $2,000 from my unemployment benefit card. I got the money back. I did a claim, and they gave me the provisional credit.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave me a new card, and I said, "Fine, I'm going to be very careful. I'm gonna, because I think in Jersey, you can't pump your own gas. So I think in Jersey, when I was in Jersey a few times, I gave these guys like an idiot my card to pay for the gas. So I stopped doing that.
Yeah, and you see, by them having physical access to your card, they get the 3-digit code on the back. Like just bumping into somebody, they don't get the 3-digit code. So the only thing they could do with that compromise is another contactless type payment thing. Yeah. But something like this, where they actually take money out of an account, that requires a little bit more.
That's what I'm saying. And it happened again on Monday. They took money from my Money Network card because my job. But like these jobs now, some of them have the employees, they give you payroll cards.
Mm-hmm.
So that employer, I've been with them for almost 10 years, and we've had payroll cards, and they changed banks like 3 times. So they're using Money Network. Before they had Bank of America, and I don't know why they left Bank of America to go to use Metabank, because Metabank, they deal with all those prepaid cards, and they're not really secure. And then I wanted to take money out on Monday because I had to get a rim replaced on my car, and that the ATM said insufficient funds.
Wow.
And they took a total of 1,000 and change, and they said that somebody has a card, somebody with a card reader got my information, don't know how, because they don't have my card, my bank card, and they took the money out at the Bank of America in Ridgewood. That's like the borderline Queens and Brooklyn. They did it again, another Bank of America in Chinatown, Hester Street. They did another withdrawal from a restaurant called Carbone. I think that's somewhere in Manhattan.
That's Little Italy, I think, right? Yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's someone that I know that has something against me. I don't know if it's someone that's going around doing this type of scam. But that never happened. I had bank cards for years, and my accounts never got hacked. But then I realized we live in a modernized world, and things are getting more and more advanced now. And I think it's easier for hackers to do what they can do now because technology is becoming more advanced. You can access stuff that years ago the government had. You can get card readers. You can order them from all these websites and stuff. Those MCR card readers. Because I know about this stuff. Because I did 4 years from grand larceny.
Okay.
I know about this stuff, man. But
I think
I've been legit for like the past 10 years.
Yeah, there's a certain blindness to some of the tools. I think that's why we like to talk about this stuff, like in the magazine, at the conference, and on this show. It's always like, hey, somebody's been playing with this thing. They figured out a way to do something like that, and yeah, that isn't the way we talk institutionally, or the education system. That people aren't sharing this knowledge in open venues. That's why we like are so passionate about being here and having this discussion now, because that's how it gets out there. That's how people get hardened to this. They go through. They share techniques to avoid this kind of stuff. I would just go through and reassess everything. I mean, it's unfortunate, and you're right to kind of retrace your steps, but in a more like digital sense, like go back through your payments. And
I really doubt it's somebody though, because this kind of thing happens all the time to people all over the place. The important thing is,
are you serious?
Oh yeah, sure. But you're on top of it. You notice. They count on people not noticing, but in the end, they get what they paid for, or what they cheated and used your card for. If they went to an ATM, they're on camera. They're on camera, so they that's not very smart. But the important thing is that you get your money back. When it's banks, you're always covered. Credit cards, you're covered for that kind of thing as well. I've had this happen to me. I remember once, this was a great story. Right after one of our conferences at Hotel Pennsylvania, there was one of the cards I was using there, in fact, had a charge on it. And I'm not kidding, literally the charge was for exactly $2,600. All right, and somebody used my card to buy a dog up in the Bronx. I don't know how they managed to make the amount exactly 2,600.
Serious.
But I didn't have to pay for a dog. Let's put it that way. I was able to get that. But the dog did get sold to somebody. Yeah. The other time, remember that time I wound up buying a train set for some woman's kid?
It was like $300.
Yeah, but that one I didn't notice for a year because I didn't itemize my credit card statements, so I couldn't. Yeah, Chase claimed they don't keep records beyond a few months, which I don't believe for a second. But I couldn't get a refund on that because I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. These days you got to be extremely careful.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just telling myself after it happened, because one of my step parents, passed away last February because of cancer. And
sorry to hear that.
They said thank you. I was telling myself, my God, that the parents know best.
Yeah.
And I wasn't using that. I have two. They gave me 2 binders. I put them right back in my wallet. And I'm not. Those cards are going inside the binders.
Right. That protects you from one compromising situation. There are so many others. Yeah. Times where it doesn't even matter. They get a list of card numbers from the credit card company because they have a database that got compromised. So it will happen regardless of how much security that you implement. You might be able to save yourself from certain instances, but it's always going to be a risk. Always.
Just make it.
And thank God the provisional credits, the provisional credit procedures, man, they're wonderful. I got the funds back right away. With Key Bank, it took about 13 days.
Uh-huh.
But with this bank here, they put it right back on. I just got to wait for the new card to come in.
Just remember, they're not doing you a favor. They have to do that because it's most likely a security issue on their end, and you shouldn't have to cover that. In fact, you shouldn't be inconvenienced for the amount of time you don't have access to it. It's really annoying.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thank God.
All right. Well, good luck to you.
I think I'll be able to reach you. All right. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks for that story.
That was something. None of us are safe. And any you guys out there in Skype-land, any credit card nightmares or bank story nightmares?
Not for a long time. I think the last time I had credit card fraud done with one of my cards was maybe 2016. Ish.
Yeah, it was 2016.
Yeah. But it's been ages, and that was not a contactless card at the time.
All right, we'll take one more call. This is the last call we're taking. So just anybody else out there. Okay. I don't know who it is. Good evening. You're on Off the Hook Overtime. Go ahead.
Greetings from Beijing Olympic Bubble.
You're in the Beijing Olympic bubble?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I don't want to doubt you, but is there any way you can prove that?
I sent you a message last night on Twitter, direct message. I'm the school board member who called about a month ago.
Okay. Well, first of all, are you?
My day job is
are you in the Olympics?
For a media company.
Oh, so you're
no. I'm with a media company.
Okay.
He's probably covering the.
All right. So can you describe what it's like over there right now?
Yeah, it's pretty intense. I've been here since the 23rd of January. And sorry, I'm talking through a mask. We're in serious lockdown. Everybody who's living and working within here is staying in the bubble. If you're serving food, you're staying on site. If you're in a media contingent, you're getting on a bus. You go through a security perimeter on the way out, get into your bus, and it delivers you to where you're going. We're at the main media center, which is where the press is. We're about, like 5 New York City blocks away from some of the venues, but we can't walk there. We have to get on buses or use media taxis, or there is a bullet train, which is amazing.
Really?
I've got some time-lapse photography on that one. It's pretty cool. But the security measures we're taking on our end it's no joke.
And has it paid off? Have people been staying negative test-wise?
Oh yeah, I mean, in our group, yes. One of our photographer support technicians was a close contact on his flight. and he found out about 20 hours after he landed, and had to spend the next day in semi-isolation. Had to spend the next 5 days in 2 meters around him. He had to eat alone. It's been okay considering. I've got to see a couple of events, but yeah, we're definitely using burner phones, burner laptops. One of the funny things is when we arrived, the local organizing committee offered us free complimentary USB-C to Ethernet adapters, and USB-A to USB-C adapters, which we promptly, thanked them for and locked up. And then during opening ceremonies, there were some network issues where the entire stadium went out and people were walking around handing out USB adapters, and one of our representatives took one. I took it apart. It looks okay. It's got all the right stuff. There's definitely flash in all of them because that's how they deliver the plug and play adapter drivers.
Wow, that's interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, I could send you some photos on direct message. I don't want to out who I am publicly, but I'm happy to do it.
I think this would make a great article if you want to write an anonymous article for us too, just on the things you've noticed in the technology.
Oh, I'd love to.
That would be awesome. I think our readers would love that.
Okay. That would definitely be great.
The coverage we've been watching both U.S. a little bit and Canadian broadcasts, and it's been pretty outstanding. What we have seen, not glued to it, but definitely catching a couple events, and I'm sure it's been just really fascinating just to physically be there, since so few people actually are experiencing it this time.
Yeah, I did Tokyo as well, and I actually that was it's basically the same exact time here because of daylight savings and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I did try calling. I don't even know if you were doing overtime at the time. But I remember wanting to have called because even then, some of the security protocols are pretty interesting. But it's got nothing on these games. But yeah, the coverage has been crazy. There was a story that broke overnight regarding the Russian figure skating team and maybe some doping, either recreational doping or performance doping. We're not sure. But we've been monitoring all of this.
Wow.
Non-performance enhancing doping.
It just never ends, does it? It's always a doping.
Well, it may be weed.
Okay. All right. Well, weed. Weed in China is no laughing matter.
Oh, absolutely. And I, that was the thing I thought, if it's not performance enhancing, they may have issues with the local authorities here.
Yeah.
All of the rest of us have decided to forego weed for the time that we're in the country. You would think the athletes could do so as well. An American athlete had the same months before the games had tested for marijuana and wasn't allowed to participate. So this story is breaking. We're going to see where it goes.
Well, I'd be concerned they weren't allowed to leave because it can be a pretty serious.
Well, right.
So that's something to worry about. How are people accepting the restrictions and the guidelines and all that? Is there any pushback?
It's funny. I haven't seen anyone throw a mask at somebody or scream about a face diaper since I've been here. Swift government action seems to put those things to rest.
Yeah, authoritarian rule does kind of quell that sort of thing. But wow.
Yeah, and all of us are vaccinated. I don't think you could be here without being vaccinated. So that weeds out a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to experience is there any like good food? There's some kind of culture there even though you're within the bubble, you're able to like have a good meal and share some downtime and stuff too?
So I do feel like we're missing out on a lot of authenticity. But here at the media center, and this is maybe some of the stuff I'll send you, we have robots cooking and serving food to us.
Robots?
In one of the cafeteria. They're calling it, it's noodles from the ceiling, I think.
Yeah, it's like a crane that lowers.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a crane that lowers. There's a track in the ceiling with QR codes spaced out every foot or less. And then robotic drones that basically pick up the food from the cooking machine and then drive to your location loaded onto the crane. The crane lowers. As the crane's about to lower, a hologram prints onto your table where you're sitting, basically announcing the arrival, and then you're able to receive your food.
And you can say extra spicy, right?
No, they have chili sauces on the side.
Okay, all right.
I will say the robot cooked food may be some of the more tasty meals, but that's because it's cooked to order. Whereas, if you go through some of the places where there's humans cooking and stationed and ready to hand you your food, it may have been sitting there cooked for a while. All in all, not bad. Compared to Tokyo, I'd say we have more choice as they're varying the menu every day, whereas in the Tokyo Media Center cafeterias, we basically had the same options almost every day.
Yeah, I
at
recall
2 different restaurants.
People were like running off to convenience stores to just get like lunch boxes and snacks because they
but
wanted
the
something
convenience
different.
stores in Tokyo are a whole other world on their own.
Right.
True.
Having
Right, yeah.
fresh prepared food every single day
Of course,
that
of course.
they stock. It's a really cheap way to eat pretty well. Also in Tokyo, after my 14 days of quarantine, which I was allowed to go to work walking each day because I was less than a mile from the media center, on day 15, they handed me a transit card and basically said, you can go anywhere on this transit map, keep social distance. And that was wonderful. Here we don't have that. I definitely feel like if I had to say I've been to China, yes, I've been to China, but I haven't really seen China. Except from the windows of the bullet train, which the fact that we don't have these things in our country just drives me nuts.
Yeah, they probably built it 2 weeks before the event. They probably just put it together. Really
honestly,
quickly.
it looks brand new, and it you don't feel a thing. Like you just hear whoosh, you hear a little wish.
Wow.
And you're moving at 217 miles an hour is the highest I saw us going.
Are you sure it's not
But I'll be
kilometers?
honest, every time I've gotten on this thing, I've passed out.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. It's 217 miles an hour or kilometers an hour?
Yeah, it was 350 kilometers per hour.
Oh, my God.
Or close, like 348.
Oh, my God. Wow. And you say you passed out?
Yeah, I honestly, this thing lulls me to sleep. We're mostly on it by ourselves when you get on there.
I see. Okay.
Now that more of the media has arrived, there's more people on the trains, but a coworker and I were the only ones in the car the 2 times we went up there.
It's so good that you're telling the story, though. Please share. Like that's how experiencing other forms of infrastructure. That's when people they bring back the story and they get other people excited about it and say like, why not? This is worth having.
But the minute I say the words, they have this in China, I'm going to turn off 33% of the population.
That's true. There is a bit of that. On that note, are you? I assume you're American. Are you received well over there?
Yeah. So they have volunteers. I'll show you some pictures. They're from all over China. They speak amazing English. They all look like kids, but that's because I'm in my 40s now. They're in university or just after. So there's pin trading is very popular here. So I've gotten into that, and it's kind of a goodwill situation. But yeah, we've been really well received by the staff here. I'm sure, just like in America, there's things said, but you wouldn't know it by being here and working with these people. They're some of the most friendly people I've come across in my life.
And do you feel they're doing an effective job keeping people safe?
I think it may be even I don't want to say heavy-handed because it is, but it's crazy that COVID still finds a way. I feel like Jeff Goldblum's here. Life finds a way, and COVID finds a way. It's 8 Russian athletes on the hockey team have tested positive. There was a game where they played the Canadians with masks on for 2 periods.
Yeah.
And then in the third, they decided not to wear it. And the next day, they announced 8 of their members were sick.
That was the game with the delayed start, right?
I didn't hear about this.
Correct. Yes, and it was delayed because of COVID positive tests that weren't shared from the Russian to the Canadian teams prior to the game. Canada protested and demanded masks, and they had masks for the first 2 periods, and then I don't know what happened at the third.
Wow. But you see the results. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. But, in the media, I can't tell you of any cases that I'm aware of that have happened here. I know of people who have arrived in country from other organizations who tested positive at the airport and then were taken out of their hotels. I hear the quarantine hotels are not great, where you're delivered boxed meals. I know for the athletes who are in quarantine, they're not getting enough calories to keep up their training regimen when they're in quarantine.
Well, how does that work? If they're an athlete and they've tested positive, are they still going to be able to compete? How would they be able to?
Early on, yes. I think as we get to this point, it's probably, if you test positive today, you're probably done. But it's 7 days plus 2 negative tests in a row.
Okay.
Following that last day to get out. And so I think one U.S. athlete actually just made it out of quarantine yesterday and is expected to compete.
I see. Okay.
I can't remember her name right now. But that was a story I saw last night.
And have you had to have had tests done, or just proof that you were vaccinated?
Yeah, daily. They're doing throat swabs. They do them at our hotels, so a lot of us get them done on the way into the bus in the morning. Shuttle buses are the way to get around.
And are they particularly
and then
invasive?
At most of the venues.
Are they particularly invasive or unpleasant?
No, there's a person. In my case, there's a person in a booth. I go to the first booth. They scan the vial. They scan the barcode on my ID, and then they scan the vial again. Hand me the vial. I go to the second booth, and they take a swab. They swab your throat, and there's varying depth. Some of us have bad gag reflexes, and it's not pretty. But I haven't gotten sick yet from it. In the airport, I will say it was the most invasive COVID test I've ever had. Up the nose. I swear I felt it behind my eyeball.
Yeah, those are terrible.
And then the second one in the throat.
Wow. Yeah, you see the ones we take here, they just do a little swab in your nose and you're done, and that's it. This is a major big thing.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to somebody telling me how oppressive our country is, and I was on I don't want to say too much, but I was in a school board meeting and I was called a communist, and I'm now having experienced it firsthand, which I don't really think I have because I see a lot of capitalism here.
Oh yeah, it's a very capitalistic society, absolutely.
Yeah, I pass 2 Starbucks on my way in every day, and I can't have any. And the coffee in our hotel is actually very good, but it's in a very small cup, and I need a lot more caffeine.
They have KFC there with table service. I've seen it.
They have KFC at the mountain venue. We went up twice. They didn't have it there. They also had a Pizza Hut. The Pizza Hut apparently didn't pay the Olympic gods, so it was converted into a restaurant called the Blue Lagoon.
Interesting. Wow. Well, all these observations are priceless, so please make as many of them as you can, because this is truly a fascinating piece of history you're living through.
Yeah, I'm loving it. 30 days and change away from my family. But I think what I'm bringing home, hopefully it's not COVID, but what I'm bringing home is the experience of a lifetime. And I've actually gotten to do it twice in less than a year.
Yeah.
With the Olympics, and I find myself really fortunate for that.
Maybe later this year, World Cup, huh? Why not?
Yeah, I don't think so. Not for me. But I am looking forward to going to Hope. I haven't been to Hope since the 5th Hope because I had a child the following year, and her birthday is always Hope weekend. So.
And now she wants to come to Hope, right?
Yeah, hopefully she wants to go into engineering, so that'd be nice.
That'd be awesome. Wow.
And St. John's is right next to where my mom used to live in Fresh Meadows, so.
That's
I'm familiar with the area.
Okay, that's you can tell our listeners that it's a pretty cool place to be.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's easy to get to.
Yep.
Right off right off the Long Island Expressway, right?
And the Parkway, and everything really.
And the Parkway and the cross county. I forget what it is.
Cross Island, the airport. Everything is right there, so it's pretty amazing. Guys in Skype land, did you have any questions for our caller from Beijing? They look puzzled. Anybody?
I'm just wondering, Yeah, when you get out of there, we definitely want to see an article for 2600 magazine on what your whole experience was like and the security stuff you went through and everything, because I am particularly fascinated by that.
Yeah, most definitely. And don't
Yeah,
worry,
sure thing.
don't worry about length because we'll make pages for this.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure. All right. We look forward to seeing you at Hope then, and stay safe over there. Observe as much as you possibly can, and it's.
We appreciate your work too.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've got a new appreciation for. I've been working with a media company for a very long time now, but this is my second time being deployed with them, and this honestly kind of almost feels like a wartime deployment in the way we're locked down and the security measures we're taking and all that. Not that we're hostile, but there's unseen hostility everywhere. And I mean, you kind of go through life that way now when you're in InfoSec.
Mm-hmm.
But here we are.
Wow. What time is it over there now? It's like 10:30 in the morning, I think.
It is 10:31 exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So you have a whole day ahead of you. So we'll let you get to that.
Yeah, they're making an announcement now. You can hear.
Yeah, I heard a voice.
Yeah, they're announcing a conference for the IOC. They may be announcing the figure skating results. So.
Is there a particular event you'll be covering today? Because we can watch it later.
I was hoping to get to the snowboard freestyle at the Big Sky thing, where everybody thinks it's nuclear cooling towers, but really it's just a retired ironworks plant.
I saw that. I thought it was a nuclear tower. It's not a nuclear tower. Okay.
No, it's I got video and pictures there too. It's a bizarre site because it looks like something out of Soviet days. Just giant ironworks buildings and pipes and these cooling towers that look like they're nuclear, but they're not.
Wow.
Yeah, apparently they were decommissioned for another Olympic event. I think Pyeongchang in 2018. They were decommissioned prior to that to help with air quality and stuff.
But that's Korea, right? Pyeongchang, yeah, that's Korea.
No, okay. What other games was it? It may have been. Maybe it was a.
Well, they were here in 08.
It was 08. Okay.
In Beijing in 08, they did the air quality.
That's what it was.
They did big air quality crackdowns here.
Pyeongchang was the last
being here in the
games.
winter, I think we've got.
Wait, what was in 08?
Yeah.
What was in 08?
Beijing. The last time it was in Beijing.
You're saying the Olympics were in...
Yeah, it was Summer Games.
Yeah, Summer Games.
Oh, Summer Games in Beijing. These are Winter Games in Beijing. Wow. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. All right, listen, thanks so much for taking
time.
Just
over a decade later.
Well, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us and share all this. It's been really fascinating. And
I'm glad I was able to get through. I just think about, how it wasn't that long ago. You could easily get through on this, and now it's a hell of a popular phone number. I felt like I was trying to be caller 15 in like 1982.
How did you get through to us? A direct dial or anything in particular?
Yeah, I direct dialed from my burner phone. I was listening. So that's something we didn't talk about. Everything here is through WeChat, and as an American, you can't really get WeChat. You need a Chinese phone number.
Okay.
So I was listening to you on my China phone that we put the SIM card in locally, but I was calling on the phone that I brought over from the States with the Washington, D.C. phone number. So
is that going to cost you a fortune to call a number in the States from China?
No, I don't think so. I think we've got this, I hope not. We've got a mobile calling plan. When I brought my own phone to Tokyo, and I just paid $10 a day, and I could call anybody back home that I wanted to.
Wow.
But if I called across the street for pizza, that was an international call.
Amazing. That's telecommunications for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is.
All right. Listen, you have a great day, and if you're there next week, give us a call then too.
Sounds great. Yeah, I'll be here till the end. So talk to you again.
All right. Be well.
All right. Bye.
Wow. That was awesome. What a great call. That made my night. A call from the Olympics.
Huh?
Sorry?
Incredible.
Yeah.
That one last call, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks. This is the longest overtime ever. we're flirting with 2 hours. So any closing thoughts from you guys who've been remarkably quiet? No, whoever that is, no.
If it's for me, I'm not here.
I'm really curious who's on the other end of it.
Yeah.
Don't be curious.
Yeah.
This is the one time you should be incurious.
Yeah, it killed the cat. It's going to kill us too if we're too curious. So I'm sorry. You guys were saying something though?
No, I want to hear from more people who are in China covering the Olympic Games now. But no, that was truly incredible. We love to, and we want you to call us on future installments, but also send us email, oth@2600.com. We totally want to hear about people who are in unique security and technical situations like this, and what kind of challenges you're facing, and tell us a little bit about what you're going through, because we are fascinated.
And thinking with a hacker mindset, that opens up so much in whatever story you're telling, and it works in good situations, it works in bad situations, observing and sharing what you see and the results of your experiments. It's always such a valuable thing.
I just love the analogy of working together and the kind of level of seriousness that they're taking it with. I mean, I'm sure no one in this meant to feel like they were on some high stakes deployment, but they care about their work. They want to get it right and stay safe and do all of that. And even if it means taking all this precaution, they're up for it. So that's it's harrowing, and it's what it takes, sort of behind the scenes to get the information back to everybody watching.
Wow. Okay. This call is coming in right now. That's the number that called us at the beginning of the hour. You want to just make a quick pickup? Hello?
You're not a voicemail system, so you need to press 1 to take this call.
It's Google. You have to press 1 to take this call. Okay. Is someone there?
Yes.
Okay, you got to make it quick. We know you're the caller at the start of the hour, so we're giving you a chance.
This is Bobcat. This is going to take 1 minute.
Okay, go ahead. This is Bobcat. How you doing?
Great. So first off, Meta is a recursive acronym, just like GNU means GNU got Nazi Unix. Meta stands for Meta Enhances Targeted Advertising.
Wow.
Secondly, Joe Grand did a video on his hack of the USB key to retrieve the $2 million of tokens.
Okay.
Third, Right to Repair, Louis Rossman. If you go to YouTube and look for Louis Rossman, 2 S's, 2 N's, he's got a store in New York City, 27th near 7th Avenue, across from the Fashion Institute of Technology. He repairs MacBooks. He's done hundreds of videos of board repairs, and he founded a nonprofit to promote right for repair. He's raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. He goes to Massachusetts all the time and other states to testify for right to repair before legislative bodies all over the country. And he's been doing this for years, and I can't believe you have not interviewed him yet.
I can't either. I can't. There's no reason we shouldn't have. Wow.
And
Okay,
he's
give him
on
a call.
27th Street and 7th
Hang
Avenue in
on,
Manhattan.
Alex,
on YouTube.
can't hear. I'm sorry. Repeat what you said, Bobcat?
He has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Wow. Now, Alex, you had a question?
Yeah, sorry about that. He's on 27th Street and 7th Avenue in Manhattan?
Yeah, he's on 27th Street and near 7th Avenue, across from the Fashion Institute of Technology.
Yeah, that's amazing.
He got that store there
so
because
close.
a lot of people at FIT have MacBooks, and he figured they'd break. And then, of course, the pandemic happened. But he's still there, and he does great work. Cheap. If you have a broken MacBook or a broken anything, he can fix it.
This guy needs to come to Hope. He could do business right there.
Yeah.
He actually is teaching microsoldering. He's doing it with his nonprofit, and he hooked up with some hackerspace somewhere in New York. I'm not sure where.
Well,
but you can learn to use all the stuff that he does.
If you can find out more info for us and send it to us, we'd appreciate that. But we'll look into it.
ROSSMANN.
Okay.
He's on YouTube. You can find him easily.
Okay.
Rossman Repair Group.
Kyle, go ahead.
I was just going to add, I mean, microsoldering specifically, I think is something that needs to be taught and understood at a much deeper level. Like, the components are getting so small now. That kind of work is an art form, and there are not nearly enough hackers that are sharing and teaching it. And I mean, we've had a lot of soldering instruction in the past, but I think would like to see that pushed and evolved further.
Anything else, caller?
Well, you can find him.
Okay.
Good luck.
Well, we'll track him down. All right. Thanks for your call. All right, and that's it. That's it. We gotta stop now. Boy, any final words, guys?
I retract my earlier. Don't be curious. That was a good call.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I'm exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
So have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, you've got your pajamas on. In fact, wow.
I'm all right. I mean, I could go for a bit
No,
more,
we're not
but,
going any further. No, that's it.
I'm
That's
happy
it.
to see everyone again. I hope everyone continues to hack stuff. Please write us oth@2600.com. Tell us about what is being hacked, what you're hacking, what you heard about being hacked,
What you'd like to hack.
what you think should be hacked, or what you think could never be hacked.
Gila, any last words from you?
Avoid a hacking cough.
Okay.
And
Good advice.
stay warm, stay careful, stay safe. And don't let anybody bullying you into wearing a mask if you still want to do that, despite what the mandates say.
Wait, don't say that again.
Don't let anyone bully you into not wearing a mask if you still want to, despite what the mandates say.
Get that on a bumper sticker, and I think you'll have a hit.
Shorten it a little bit.
No, it's perfect the way it is. All right. Great hanging out, guys. We'll see you next week.
Play
Good night,
Wordle.
Bye.
Wordle.